Eala's historic triumph diminished in Doha. Alexandra Eala made headlines as she became the first woman from the Philippines to enter the top 40 of the WTA rankings. Her achievement came after reaching the quarterfinals of the Abu Dhabi Open, elevating her from world number 45 to number 40 on Monday. However, her triumph was short-lived following a first-round defeat at the Qatar TotalEnergies Open in Doha. Doha Masters 1000, Eala's disappointment. Eala faced Teresa Valentova, a rising tennis star from the Czech Republic. The match ended in straight sets, with Valentova winning 7-6, 6, 6-1. Just 18 years old, Valentova was eager to prove herself after recently dropping in the WTA rankings from number 44 to number 48. Despite a promising start to the season, Eala's loss puts her current record at 7-5. Meanwhile, Valentova improves to 6-3, advancing to face Karolina Muchova, the 14th seed, in the next round. The tournament continues through Saturday, February 14th. This match marks another challenging moment for Eala, who has been competing heavily since the Australian Open. After a disappointing first-round exit there, she had managed to reach the quarterfinals in both the Philippine Women's Open and Abu Dhabi Open. However, the grueling schedule may have taken a toll on her performance in Doha. Under the dazzling lights of Doha's Khalifa International Tennis and Squash Complex, the world watched as Alexandra Eala, the pride of the Philippines, a rising global tennis star, stepped onto the court with a blend of determination and history in her eyes. It was a night of contradiction. A young athlete soared into the record books moments before experiencing one of the most humbling matches of her burgeoning career. This is the story of triumph and challenge, of how a historic breakthrough was tempered on the hard courts of Qatar. The build-up, rising to new heights. For a young athlete hailing from Manila, the journey to the upper echelons of professional tennis hasn't been linear, it's been electric. Eala, at just 20 years old, has shattered expectations time and time again. With her powerful baseline play, fearless aggression, and an infectious belief in her own abilities, she has rewritten what was considered possible for Filipino athletes in a sport long dominated by European and American names. Earlier this week, Eala reached a career-high ranking, number 40 in the WTA singles rankings, a milestone no woman from the Philippines had ever achieved. It was a marker of progress, a testament to hours of training, grit, and poise under pressure. This ranking was more than a number. For the Filipino community, both in the Philippines and throughout the global diaspora, it was affirmation that a new era of tennis had begun, led by one of their own. From the Miami Open to the Abu Dhabi Open, Eala's season had been punctuated with impressive performances. She ran deep in tournaments, proving she could hang with the sport's top talents and win crucial points. Her quarterfinal finish in Abu Dhabi was the springboard that propelled her into the top 40, a historic achievement that sparked celebrations back home. Doha's early promise, a stage set for history. Doha's WTA 1000 event is one of the most prestigious stops on the women's tour, a place where champions are forged and reputations are bolstered. With star players from around the world converging on Qatar, the stakes were high. Eala arrived with confidence, dreams, and a mission to make her mark once again among the sport's elites. Scheduled to face Teresa Valentova, an 18-year-old Czech rising star, Eala had an immediate test on her hands. Their history was already tinged with competitiveness. Valentova had provided a stern challenge in their previous meeting, and another intense clash was expected. The arena was electric as fans filed in, cameras ready, breaths held. The Filipino contingent, clad in red, waved flags and cheered, fully aware that history was breathing down this moment's back. But the match would not unfold the way Eala or her supporters had hoped. The match, a swift and hard-fought lesson. What began with promise quickly shifted into a lesson in tennis's unforgiving nature. On paper, the two competitors seemed evenly matched. But when it mattered most, Valentova found her rhythm early and refused to relent. The first set, tense and competitive, eventually tipped in favor of the Czech teenager after a gripping tiebreak. Valentova's serve found precision. Her returns were sharp. Eala's courageous fight, a trademark of her game, was met blow for blow, but ultimately she could not convert early chances to swing the momentum her way. The scoreboard read 7-6, 6, 6-1. In straight sets, Eala was outpaced, a result that stunned some but underscored the razor-thin margins at the sport's highest level. Analysts noted the shift in dynamics between the sets. Valentova's first serve percentage was high, her aces gave her free points at key moments, and she converted more break opportunities than Eala. Conversely, Eala struggled with consistency on serve and couldn't generate enough winners to counter her rival's accuracy. The aftermath: reflection and resilience. For many, the narrative could have ended with disappointment, a sudden exit immediately after a career milestone. But those who follow tennis closely know that growth seldom blooms from ease. Sometimes the most vivid lessons emerge from loss. Within the tennis community and across social media, fans, especially from the Philippines, responded with a blend of admiration and encouragement. Yes, the final curtain in Doha came earlier than expected, but the broader arc of Eala's journey is anything but over. Her ascent to the top 40 WTA ranking has already redefined her legacy. It sends a powerful message to aspiring athletes that barriers can be pushed, records can be rewritten, and the future is not confined by history. Moreover, this loss in Doha will feed the deeper layers of her competitive spirit. For every champion, early setbacks often become fuel, prompting introspection, refinement, recalibration. The young star now turns her gaze toward the next events on the WTA calendar: Dubai, Indian Wells, the continually demanding tour that separates contenders from legends. A nation behind her, beyond the scoreline. When Eala steps onto a court, she carries more than her own ambition. She carries the hopes of a nation and the dreams of young tennis players across Southeast Asia. Her rise isn't just her own ascent. It symbolizes the growing potential of athletes from regions historically underrepresented in world tennis. Losses and triumphs alike matter. They define character, process, and narrative. Doha will be remembered not merely for the final scoreline, but as the inflection point where expectations met reality and where resilience will be tested and displayed. Eala isn't just collecting rankings, she's carving a legacy. History will remember how she handled moments like this one. Final thoughts. A chapter, not the end. If we view this moment through the lens of a single event, it may read as triumph diminished. But with broader perspective, it becomes a chapter in an unfolding story, a tale of ambition, breakthrough, struggle, and renewal. Eala's journey transcends one match. It's about progress in a sport that demands perpetual evolution. That night in Doha might have concluded in defeat, but it also reaffirmed something far more enduring, that a historic rise doesn't end with one loss, it only grows stronger through adversity. And when she steps